Hey guys, it's Michelle here and welcome to the mblog channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as follow me on my Instagram and on my Snapchat, where I'll be updating you guys on when I will be uploading my videos. It's a great way to stay in touch with me, so make sure you do that. But nonetheless, this video is going to be on college taking note tips, and I feel like this is so important because we want to be consistent, fast, and efficient when taking our notes in college. So this video will ultimately be on how I do that on my own life. Obviously, there's a billion other ways to take notes, but this is one of my ways, and it was requested by one of you guys, so I think it's really important to talk about in this video. It will be a debrief of how I take my notes, and hopefully it will help you guys on your college journey. I do start my school tomorrow, so wish me luck. Alright, so let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing that I want to share with you guys is the front page, or the first page of your notes. What should it have? What should it look like? So for me, I always write the date. I know that is so basic, but always remember when you started your chapter and when you ended it, and it'll also help you to see what days you weren't in class. And I think it's super beneficial not only for a reference check, but also if you miss a day, it's easier to look back on your notes and look at the gap between the days that you weren't in class. And if you need it from, you know, a friend or a classmate, you can just say, hey, I really need chapter 2, the day that we took it on was this date. Do you happen to have it, or were you there on this day for class? So it's a great reference point, so make sure you start off with the date. The other thing that I like to have on my front page of my notebook or my notes section is class objectives or class announcements. So taking an online class, chances are I will be writing the class objectives. So usually on the front page of your chapter, it will start with things that you should know about the chapter, and that's what I like to start with. I like to get some idea of what my chapter is going to be about, so that's what I spend my first page on. Or class announcements. So in person, there's not really enough time to write class objectives, so I will just write class announcements. So if the professor says we're going to have a final exam on this day, or it's really important for you to know this, or have your textbook for this day, I always write it in front on the front page or at the top or just somewhere on my notes. So the front page is just for the date, the title of what you guys will be working on, and class announcements or class objectives. So that's what I like to write on my first page of my notes. Let's go. Now to the actual writing down notes. So the way that I start off my notes is by dividing it with a line. So it's definitely called the Cornell note system. You guys can definitely look it up if you haven't heard of it before, but I was introduced to it in high school, and the Cornell note system in high school was really different. I really didn't like it in high school, but in college it seemed really beneficial. So what I will do is I will write the topic or summary of what I'm writing on the right hand side. On the right hand side, I just write anything that has to do with the topic that I just wrote on the left hand side. So it is a quick flash guide, and I think that's a flashcard system, I feel like, and that's why I feel like I've done really well in my classes. It's because every time I'm reading my notes, I'm already almost studying, and it's been super beneficial. It's a great reference tool as well. So if I'm looking for something that has to do with law, I already know that it's going to be on my left hand side, and every information that has to do with it will be on the right. It's very beneficial, and I've been using it since day one. So as you're writing your Cornell notes, it's important that you create a system that you're consistent with. So for me, it's obviously creating the lines and titles. The other thing that I like to do is that I do not highlight until I study. And this is mostly an incentive so that I can go back and highlight, but also you want to be efficient with your time and not waste it highlighting or underlining or adding colorful, pens into your paper. I really leave it until the end to highlight. I think it's really beneficial to save the highlighting for another time. People do not waste your time highlighting in class. It's really a waste of time. Alright, the next thing that I do while taking notes is that I create a symbol kind of guide for myself, and it's something that I follow. Obviously you can make your own, but I have simple ones like the 2 double dashes that are slanted. That means that there is a transitional or periods, or that the slide has changed in the PowerPoint. Thus, I will know at what point my notes have changed slides because I have a little dash. The next thing that I like to do is boxing main topics in my notes. So I will box the main topic, and that will let me know that this is the main topic, and the subtopic is just using a simple line on the bottom. Another one that you will see is I use the star. The star for me means very important and something that I really need to know for an exam. And then another one that I like to use, which is something that I grabbed from middle school, which is a V with a circle, and that means vocab. So anytime that I have a V and a circle, it's because that is a vocabulary word and I want to know it later. So that's basically what the V and the circle stands for. Another thing that I like to do while taking notes is while writing my sentences, I don't like writing full-on words, so I'll break it down, and you'll see that I'll probably write only A, B, J, and that means adjective or objective, or I don't know. To me, it makes a lot of sense right now. Probably to you, this girl's crazy. But when you guys are writing down your notes, you will see how more efficient it is. So make sure that your notes are fast and efficient, and using these symbols will help you absolutely when doing that. Alright guys, that is the end of this video, and to summarize it all, just make sure it's consistent and easy to understand for you, and that the symbols are just something that you can understand at the end of the day to make it fast and efficient. You don't want to waste your time, you know, color coding and highlighting all of this when that can just be spent when you are studying later on. You know, you only get an hour to fully understand the entire material, so make sure you are doing so by taking the proper notes and making sure that you are consistent with them. You don't want to keep changing your note style. It won't help you while learning. So that is it for this video, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye.